I'm Mitch LaKind, Mayor of Monument. I'd like to extend a big thank you for everybody who's come in today and the media that's joining us. The purpose of this press conference is to address recent developments regarding an ongoing investigation by the Colorado Office of Attorney Regulation, or OARC, in response to a complaint that was filed by the town of Monument against attorney Grant Vanderyacht of the law firm Starzinski Vanderyacht in January of 2023. Over the last 17 months, the OARC office of the Colorado Supreme Court, responsible for regulating the legal profession in our state, has diligently pursued this investigation. The complaint lodged against attorneys associated with Starzinski Vanderyacht law firm encompasses various allegations, including breaches of confidentiality, intimidation of town's personnel, failure to meet minimum competence standards for attorneys, failures to recognize the town of Monument as its client, refusal to turn over the town's client file, taking vindictive actions towards the town and its personnel, and involvement in a pattern of deceit. It's important to provide context regarding the circumstances leading up to this investigation. In December 2022, certain members of the outgoing town council engaged Starzinski Vanderyacht to reevaluate a campaign finance violation complaint. The decision followed by a previous investigation, which was initiated in October 22 based on a complaint from former Mayor Pro Tem Kelly Elliott. This complaint was previously dismissed by an independent hearing officer because the violations had been properly cured as provided by the Fair Campaign Practices Act and the Monument Municipal Code. However, the subsequent investigation conducted by Starzinski Vanderyacht yielded a report that went well beyond the scope authorized by the town council. It contained erroneous statements of fact and law, and generally failed to provide any reasonable analysis or substantiation for its conclusions and recommendations. In contrast, a report endorsed by the town council in April of 2023, based on an investigation by recitation and documentation analysis of the situation. Moving forward, the town council is exploring avenues to obtain the return of the town's client file, restitution for unauthorized work performed by Starzinski Vanderyacht, and to contest billings for services rendered after the termination of their contract with the town. Throughout this process, the town has refrained from public comment to ensure the OARC's investigation remains impartial. We are optimistic about the thoroughness of their inquiry and await their findings, trusting the appropriate disciplinary measures will be taken by the presiding disciplinary judge. Now, in response to inquiries that I've received regarding the August 2023 IEC complaint lodged against me by the departing members and a private citizen, I would like to offer the following. The aforementioned complaint appears to have been lodged in reprisal for the prior complaint filed by the town to the OARC. It is noteworthy that the IEC complaint, replete with unsubstantiated and demonstrably inaccurate assertions, led to an almost entire dismissal by the IEC due to its lack of merit. Nevertheless, the complaints persist in asserting ongoing investigation into matters clearly outside the purview of the complaint. Regarding the disparity between the two complaints, it is pertinent to distinguish their respective merits. The OARC complaint was supported by substantive evidence prompting a thorough investigation, which includes the determination of fitness to practice law, culminating in potential settlement discussions or adjudication. Conversely, the IEC complaint was notably deficient in evidentiary support, resulting in the dismissal of all but two specific allegations by the IEC members. With that said, I will open the floor up to questions, and feel free to, anything related to this matter other than the IEC complaint that I've already discussed. Yeah. So there was they were prepared to file their complaint with the presiding officer, and the Mr. Vanderyacht decided to change attorneys. So he had one attorney, decided to go with another one, and within the 3 weeks time that the OARC granted Mr. Vanderyacht more time. It would appear that there is ongoing negotiations, which is sort of the direction that OARC likes to go anyway, which is settle versus hearing. So we wanted to let the town know that, because they know that this was filed. There were several members of the community that filed that didn't have standing. The town had standing. And so now that we have an update as to where we are in the process, we wanted to let them know. Correct. The delay was generated by the switch of attorneys. Had Mr. Vanderyacht not switched attorneys, we would have likely seen the actual full investigation filed. It would have been public. It's not even, we don't even have a copy of it. Well, the report, let's start off with the report itself that was completed by Mr. Vanderyacht. It was 19 pages of content that was mostly out of scope what the then Board of Trustees authorized him to investigate. So it was supposed to be by ordinance title, that I don't have the number in front of me, you'd have to look it up, was clearly given direction to the law firm and what the engagement letter was, part of, to investigate campaign finance issue, which, not understanding why we did it. I supported that we did it at the time, but it was more for a learning experience so that both the council and town staff understood how campaign finance was supposed to work. But it had already been cured through state statute and town municipal code. Well, I think the town needs to know how our money is being spent, and being that we have spent over $100,000 in legal fees on top of the $25,000 that was paid via the engagement, that the town people have a right to know what this attorney and his law firm and those that supported his engagement cost the town. That was done by me in my official capacity. I don't believe so. I won't be addressing that. I won't be addressing that. It's under investigation, so I'm not going to address it because while it's being investigated, that very thing. So the OARC complaint, yes. Time of our interim town attorney, we had to go to the OARC for an afternoon, plus phone calls and emails and things like that. It adds up. Plus, we had to have responses. We had to file responses to their responses to the complaint. Well, we should never have hired the law firm to begin with because there was a conflict of interest. And so if we hadn't have hired them, we never would have gone this far. There was a relationship between the attorney and a sitting council member at the time. They were violating attorney-client privilege during the course of their report, which was published already by the media and proven as a fact that they were doing this. And so, yeah, we needed to make sure that this attorney specifically, he clearly is unfit to practice law, especially municipal law. He had no experience based on his resume. So we want the public to know about it. And our way of doing that was to go and file with the OARC. I had to look up how you do that. How do you file a complaint? I didn't know. Well, there's a group of us that won the election. There's a group of us that lost the election. This all came out. after they lost. So November was the election. December, we had all of those meetings. And then after we filed the OERC complaint, 8 months later, they decided to file a complaint against me specifically. At the time, there would have been I didn't even know who he was until he stood up here and told us what he was going to provide us. It was based on his 19-page report that went outside the scope of what the actual ordinance said he was allowed to do. And then he threatened multiple town personnel, including me, including the town manager. It's our role as elected officials here to protect the town, and he was attacking it. So I did what I thought was right. He attacked me, he attacked members of the town staff. He attacked our budget by, demanding money. He demanded our town manager to sign documentation that was already signed by the acting mayor pro tem at the time, with threats of criminal misconduct. He was a menace, and I would do it again if he came at the town again, and it caused us to have to file again against his misconduct as an attorney in an official capacity. I'd file against him again in a minute. Well, as far as he was an employee, look, the town council gets a few employees. That's across all over Colorado, right? Town manager, city manager, attorneys, sometimes clerks. He messed up. This is our way of doling out punishment, if you will. It's the counseling, if you will. We filed a complaint. It had to be registered to the state, and he was terminated, but he violated his own laws, his own ethics. So if you let him go, well, what's he going to do to the next person, the next municipality? So, any other questions? Because I want to wrap this up. From the nods in the room, yes. And no one has told me that I did the wrong thing, and they've had plenty of opportunity to do so. So I will always do what I think is best, is to protect the town's interests from people within the town, and especially people who are not from the town. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you very much.